Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Take a sip of the potion, hit the three-wheel motion, 12 wins in a row. Mommy's bra, continuum. Incredible stats, dude. AWWP 0LJ8. I guess we had Eden's Blessing on our last run. I honestly do not recall. And not in the way that, like, during a congressional hearing, people won't recall, even though they have emails of them saying the thing that they say that they don't recall. I mean, genuinely. My lawyer has not advised me, because I don't need to speak to my lawyer between every Isaac episode. Only the ones where I say some things about Canadian corporations that may or may not border on slander. It's not slander to say you don't like a company. Making up a rumor, perhaps, sure. That could be perceived as slander, or interpreted in the eyes of the law as slander. Being like, hey, Tim Hortons, your donuts suck. No, that's not slander. That's what we in the business call an honest review, intending to make consumers aware of the garbage that they're about to pay $1.75 for, which is a cheap donut. I can't deny it. If you want a good, like, artisan cake-style donut, you're not looking at $1.75. You're probably looking at like $3 a donut, maybe even $3.50. That's not a South Park reference. It's just economics. So I understand if you're merely looking for the most donut for your buck. Anyway, this doesn't have to be a Tim Hortons episode. We don't need to go down that road. I don't mean to start a feud with Canada's largest fast casual donut chain. Suffice it to say, we're moving on. Today, the odds of us losing are already mighty low. We're going to get an orbital, we're going to get a spirit heart. That only serves to benefit us. Fate's Reward doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but that's okay. And we're kind of off to the races. It's been a bit of a weird week. You know, on Monday, I recorded a ton of Isaac, and it was good. I didn't get a chance to record anymore till Thursday, because honestly, which is right now, because I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys, not just for pleasure, but you know, for business as well. How often do you think it happens, you know, in the old world where we used to be able to travel freely? How often do you think it happens that somebody, when entering a country, gets asked business or pleasure, and then says something like, my business is my pleasure? It's gotta happen, like, at least once a day, right? Like, if you're a customs agent, I'm sure you got some stories. I will say, I did, one time, when we were coming back from Japan, we did see at the airport a guy's bag get rifled through by security, and they pulled out a bunch of, how do I say this in a YouTube-friendly manner? A bunch of devices for solo recreational pleasure that, you know, you would put something in them, not put that something in yourself. There you go. Let's just say devices that rhymed with flashlight. And I honestly, look, I don't know the guy's story, and I'm not trying to shame his use of these apparatuses, okay? But I was more like, this guy can't be going on vacation. Because who's going on vacation and taking, like, 9 you-know-whats with them? Surely, if you're going away for business for, like, a couple of weeks, you could make do with one. Okay, we gotta be a little careful. Gotta be a little cautious here. Not too cautious, just a little cautious. You don't need, I mean, I don't know, maybe he does. Maybe that's why he packed them. All I'm gonna say is he probably should have put them in his checked baggage, because it did create quite the stir at the security checkpoint. But maybe he's one of those people that doesn't do checked baggage. In which case, I understand where you're coming from, because I think that, honestly, checked baggage, not necessarily a scam, but, you know, a lot of the time, if I already paid, you know, like in the hundreds of dollars for a ticket, paying another 25 bucks for a checked bag so we don't have to, you know, shove it in the overhead compartment and fight 12 other people for the privilege of doing so, sometimes it's worth it. And I mean, if you're traveling, like, a long distance or you're going to be there for a long time, I mean, you want to be able to take a big bag with you in some circumstances, right? So this is super spiced. And honestly, very reasonable take that I shouldn't do this. but I am banking on there being a spirit heart in the shop. I have not lost any degree of hope, quite frankly. What are we gonna do? We're gonna engage in the classic flowchart. I still do not regret this. I'm trying not to fall on the spikes. That's the big one. Just don't walk on any spikes. Okay, we'll be leaving now, and that was a little spooky. I mean, truth be told, I would very much like to reroll and maybe try to buy a half-price Spirit Heart. I think that's really our only option that lets us get to that. Unless maybe, hold on, I got an idea, okay? And the other play was low percentage. This one is also low percentage, but it did allow us to get 2 cents back, access a secret room. These in the secret room, they never drop rewards, right? But we'll do it anyway just to try. All right, I mean, that was, in my opinion, that was a valid attempt. So we're gonna sweat it a little bit. We're gonna have to sweat it a little early on here. Is this doing the little things right? No, but it's close. Doing the little things right would definitely be not... Red chest, please. Would definitely be not risking death just to pick up a good item. However, this item is really good. And this is one of those... I was just gonna say, this is one of those fringe cases where I actually think pills are good. Which is why you can... And I take these way too often, there's no doubt about that. But that's why you can never say no pills ever again. All you can say is that no pills in a situation where they do more harm than good. And in this situation, they do a lot more good than harm. So how's the run looking now? Still really dangerous. 1.5 HP is... It's at least twice as good. Oh, and that's not true. It's way better than twice as good. It's probably like 10 times more likely that we'll live now. Or 10 times less likely that we'll die immediately, at least. But it's still a low amount of HP. But our offense is really, really high. Wouldn't be the worst thing for us to possibly, like, you know... Oh, just like a donation machine for once. Wouldn't be the worst thing for us to possibly, you know, pick up a Spirit Heart. That's a very good opportunity to use this, my word. Keep in mind, we do have the Mulligan, which is insanely great. And we're about to buy a Spirit Heart, which is very good as well. And all of a sudden, things are starting to look a little cozy up here, wouldn't you say? We got a little bit of protection, we got incredible amounts of damage, we even have enough consumables to throw one away looking for the second secret room on a likely situation. Now, do we know what one of you is? If we don't, then we'll just take one and run. Because the worst thing that could happen, we'd be right back in our old position if we got our health down. And we will just, you know, execute Plan A. Plan A in the Binding of Isaac is press an arrow key in the direction of your enemy until they die. And I gotta say, Plan A appears to be going very well so far. Running into very limited amounts of strife. But I'm Kylo Ren right now. More! That's a little bit more. We'll move on. Hold it together. We're just holding it down right now. This is another... actually, we should have gone to our mob trap room / boss trap room and blown up both stone chests, but... Hello. Didn't see you there. However, still very much in control. Sorry, I get the little voice crack. It's puberty number 6 coming up. I'm very excited. No, I woke up, like, weird today. Kate said I was making, like, a lot of noise in my sleep. And then, like, I had a dream that... And it sounds weird to say this, but just hear me out. I had a dream that Apollo died. But it wasn't, like, a traumatic dream. It wasn't like I watched him, like, drown or anything like that. It was more like... It was just known in the dream that he was dead. So, like, I think, like... I felt like I slept okay, but on like a psychological level, maybe like my brain is like, it's gone through some stuff that I wasn't really privy to. And then like, I swear to God, like, and I'm happy because our air conditioning is now at least working temporarily, and we know the steps to maybe get it to work permanently, which is nice. And it happened, you know, before the summer was over, which is like late, but I'm looking at the silver lining that at least it didn't get fixed in October, right? And I'm very thankful to have that. Thank you. But I woke up to like really loud knocking, which is scary to some extent. And then I went down and they knocked really loudly again. And I went just a second. And then when I opened up the door, they went, "Don't worry, guys, I woke him up." And I was like, it brought me right back to being like, you know, in your room when you have family over as a preteen and teenager, and then when you like come out to get a drink, they go like, "Look who came out of their cave. Looks like somebody feels like socializing today." It was just like, I was like, don't get me wrong, I called in a service call to be like, "Hey, fix our air conditioning," but at the same time, you know, you're supposed to like reply to that or like leave a voicemail at least and be like, "Hey, we're coming over tomorrow at 9. They did no such thing. So I was like rudely awakened. And then after waking up, they were like, "Don't worry, guys, he's up." And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm a client. I'm not saying like you gotta treat me like royalty, but that's just kind of a very, I don't know, a rude thing to say to somebody, especially somebody that's like, you know, it's not like I was like, "I just feel like calling an electrician today." It was like, "Hey, this thing that we paid for doesn't work, so, you know, fix it." "Well, looks like the royalty is finally woken up." La-di-da. With the oh, look at Mr. Fancy Pants with his garage. What do you call it, Mo? Car hole. Okay. How we doing here? I forgot our HP, but it's pretty good. We have a low deal with the devil chance here. Dude, we have an Isaac's room. That doesn't happen all that much anymore. We do also have continuum, which is very interesting. Because we have continuum lump of coal, which seems like a pretty solid combination. I gotta be honest, with low reroll potential, Lil Monstro is pretty darn good. I don't know if this is underrated, because I think it's relatively well liked. But I definitely think Lil Monstro, and I don't talk too much Isaac in the modern era, but I definitely think Lil Monstro is one of those items that, like, if I asked you about it, you would be like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." But when you actually had it, you'd be like, "Oh, this is, I forgot how sick this was." At least that's how I feel a lot of the time. I will spend a key for a bomb, but I think that's where I'm gonna call it here. And we're really, oh, I mean, this could be great, dude. This could be great. I can't believe we didn't get hit there. We could double Demon Baby. I would say this is a tough one. I don't really want 2 Demon Babies. I have at least 2 red hearts, so we can play you 3 times. Which is actually 6 times, but really? Okay, I shouldn't have done that, but I felt grifted. I gotta be honest with you. It's very dangerous, perhaps. I don't really like those for free. I think if we're gonna use Diplopia, we'd be better off using it on the shop, where maybe we could get a Spirit Heart alongside it. And also maybe getting some items along with it. Like, this is a much more tempting situation for me, I think. Buddy in a Box, not incredible, but I genuinely think that what we just did was better for us than taking those items in the deal with the devil for free. Realistically, Guppy's tail is, or Guppy's hairball is gonna do nothing for us. Necronomicon is pretty good, and we do have an empty spacebar slot, or rather, we have a spacebar slot that is like dominated by an item we don't care about for the time being. But I think strategically, we made a good choice. And I don't mean to be too braggadocious, but I will say that I think like a year ago, although a year ago, we're starting to, I mean, that's only like last August. I was starting to get okay at this game by last August. Yera, Algiz, Blackrune. I'll be honest, the odd man out for now is Algiz. We'll probably take that into the curse room with us. And I think we'll try a bomb here. It's low percentage, but work with me. Alright, it happens. Well, Algiz in, because you never know, we might get like a pill that allows us to make it out. How interesting. Again, am I now, like, do I wish that I had taken Guppy's hairball? No, but I am one away from wishing that I took Guppy's hairball for sure. So we have Blackrune and Perthrow. I think my dream is to use Blackrune prior to the boss and then carry Perthrow in the hopes, I mean, you know, this Fool card changes dynamics for us a little bit, in the hopes that our, that it allows us, sorry, I'm trying to focus here, but in the hopes that it allows us to reroll the items that we don't really like that much, that are inside of the Devil Room. So I know that this is a little bit of an unusual choice, because normally we'd be like, oh, what about just stealing an item with the Fool card from Boss Rush? But I don't know, we're so spoiled for choice right now on our, like, which rune we want to take with us, which trinket we want, or not trinket, but, like, which rune or card we want to take with us, that I think, like, I think we're doing the right thing, sincerely. Spirit Heart? These all are important. That's the easiest use of that in my life, even though it doesn't end up being that meaningful. But yeah, every single Spirit Heart is of, like, critical importance for us right now. You never know which one's going to be the one that puts you over the top, you know? It's like trying to figure out what state is going to be the swing vote in terms of the election, you know? Is it going to be a Florida year? Is it going to be an Ohio year? Is it going to be a Colorado year? We don't know yet. Help me, help me, help me get away from myself. Thank you. So I do want to go to the shop. I mean, we got plenty of time. We could... Hold on, why am I holding Yera? Why am I holding... We never had a Perthrow rune, did we? Alright. I'm realizing now I was doing the audit, and I'm like, wait a minute. We had Algiz, we had Blackrune, and then we had... No, we did not have Perthrow. We had Yera the whole time. That's fine. I mean, Yera is... really, if we're going to use it, we'd like to use it on the shop, I suppose, but... It's not really an amazing... Ooh, I thought you were my friend. I don't know why I would think that in hindsight, but... I thought you were my friend. I'll see you again. Bad damage, bad damage. And everything's okay, but this is kind of like a classic run. It's a problem that happens a lot. And I'll even... Like, I can illustrate it very easily. Usually the way that this happens... is everything starts so good on a run that I play a little lazy. And I don't think that's what's happened here. I think I've played a relatively shrewd game the whole way through. But then, like, as the run fades relative to the strength of the enemies, it might still be good, but it's less good. As it fades, I still don't think I want any of these. I just slowly decay into a disastrous situation. So I actually am gonna take this. This is like a big just-in-case item. Like, I'm trading 1 Spirit Heart now for 2 Spirit Hearts later, is my whole philosophy there. So that's very nice. I'm very happy we got it. But yeah, we do have to be cautious about our HP. I think whenever possible, we gotta blow up. I mean, we gotta look for second secret rooms, which is what I'm thinking about as we speak. This one seems... plausible. And you know what? I hate to say it, but I would much rather do that right now. And then if it ends up being like people are like, oh, that wasn't a great use of that, I live with that, okay? But I'd much rather do that right now than die holding that Yera rune, which is something that's happened to me on multitudinal occasions in the past. Alright. Is that our... Nope. I'm trying to find the health up pill to see if it's actually a health down. Because again, if it's a health up, if we get a 1 heart deal with the devil, or even a good 2 heart deal, we'd like to take it. Because it's free. Well, the 2 heart deal would cost half price, but you get the idea. Alright, so we're kind of... I would say we're in cruise right now. But it's a scary cruise for sure. And at some point, we may want to consider actually doing something with the jar instead of ignoring its existence entirely. Certainly, like, in theory... Ooh, in theory, the jar makes it very difficult to die. How much HP do you have? Like... as long as we're holding red hearts and we have HP, it should be tough for us to actually hit such a stretch of bad luck that it wipes out our savings, but... right now, we got no savings. We gotta find a way to start building back our emergency fund. Okay, so you're a friend of mine. Like Jerry the race car driver. Was a good friend of mine. Never did win a checker flag, but never... That's not how it goes. Jerry was a race car driver. Drove so gosh darn fast. It's not... Was a good friend of mine. That's... Am I conflating the South Park theme song? Come on down to South Park and be a friend of mine. Something like that? I don't know, man. Maybe? I don't know. You'll just answer the question with the... I don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't know any Primus songs except for the ones in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, South Park, and Guitar Hero. When I grow up, I want to be ground. Down the sea. Look, my entire musical taste has not been informed by Guitar Hero and Rock Band. But as somebody who was very much like a stuck-up indie kid as a teenager, I do credit Rock Band and Guitar Hero for introducing me to some more mainstreamish music that carried a lot of merit along with it as well. Like, genuinely, I was one of those... I had never thought that the Smashing Pumpkins were any good, not because I had heard a lot of their songs and disliked them, but because I was like, you know, they're like a... They're an old band. They were only famous in, like, 1993. But then, you know, hearing the monolithic riff that starts off Cherub Rock. Anyway. Got me way into a lot more of their music. My favorite song, of course, is Billy Corgan going down a roller coaster from 2019. Okay. It's, I mean, it's a stolen joke, but it's not a stolen joke. It's a reference to a joke that somebody else made. You, how dare you. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, we do have 11 keys. Try to open it on the... so it pushes it a little bit further out. I still don't mind it. I still don't mind it. The time will come where I mind it, but it's not yet. Kick it out? Sure. Not displeased. That could have gotten a little dangerous there. Keep forgetting you're on my side. Hey Einstein, I'm on your side. What game is that from? Star Fox 64? Nope, it's an impression of me in an un-yet released FMV game doing an impression of Star Fox 64. And I just got word that the FMV game has been canceled. So if you got that one right, man, that's a great trivia question. Spirit Heart? Let's go. Tua Hearts? Let's go! Let's go is, so right now, this is how much I care about my job. The Canucks are having Game 3 of the NHL play-in round against the Minnesota Wild right now. It's only 1:41 p.m., you know, it's a work day. I take this job seriously, so, you know, like anybody else that works a real job, I am not taking a day off from work to watch a hockey game. But I'll admit hearing, oh, is scary. Hearing Let's Go is exalted. I gotta tell you, dude, I had to stop myself from getting too into sports. Because, you know, the Canucks, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2015. Well, 2015-2016 season. And I was going to, like, you know, there's some bad blood between Minnesota and Vancouver just because it's the playoffs. For the most part, you know, the teams, I'm sure, don't really think about the, you know, all that much, think about each other all that much over the course of the regular season because, you know, we're both kind of bubble teams. But there's some hatred because we're playing each other a lot. And I had to remind myself that Minnesota sports fans are the same as Vancouver sports fans, or the same as every other team's sports fans, except maybe Calgary. I kid, but also. And because I went to the Minnesota subreddit, and, you know, it just makes you want to argue. Because the way that you see your own team versus the way that you see other teams is so distorted. And I'm not saying that, like, it's the Minnesota fans' problems. It's the human mind, right? Because, like, for me, I was like, how can they not see that Elias Pettersson is the best player of all time? Then I go to their subreddit, and instead of people, like, bending over backwards to be like, Elias, he's so good, instead, they're like, it's BS how many penalties got called just because people were trying to, you know, compete with Elias. Oh, it must be nice to be the NHL's golden boy. And I was, you know, you could start to be about to say some things you regret. Hey, this ain't the mid-2000s anymore, okay? You can't just punch our Swedish superstar in the back of the head, and because they're classy, they don't fight back. You know, now they're going to bully you back. But instead, I had to be like, these are just normal human beings. And then, like, you know, you go to the Minnesota game thread, and there's people like, I will never support the economy of Vancouver ever again. Their fans are delusional. They're calling for injuries. And then you look at something on the Minnesota subreddit, and it's like, I hope Pettersson leaves this game in a body bag. The true enemy is not the opposing team's fan base. Be careful here, by the way. This is why we got Judas's Shadow, so I'm not sweating it too much yet. The true enemy is not the opposing team's fan base. The true enemy is the idiots within your own fan base that then go to the other fan base and are, you know, jerks about it. And then they make your whole fan base look like idiots. But what really ends up happening is, because every franchise has it, every franchise in the NHL looks like they have idiot fans, which is true. But the bulk of NHL fans are not getting heavily liquored up on a Thursday afternoon and going like, I hope this kid leaves the game on a stretcher, you know? The bulk of them are going like, oh yes, or oh no, and then they go about the rest of their day. Because their emotional well-being is not entirely controlled by a bunch of, you know, young adults playing stickball. But, you know, don't tell them I said that. That being said, I refuse to watch the movie Fargo until this series is over. I refuse. I kid. Fargo's one of my favorite movies. But isn't Fargo in... Ooh, Dakota? Why are you guys taking credit for Fargo? Or maybe it's... I've got it confused. I think that the murders take place in Fargo, but the rest of the movie takes place in Minnesota. That's right, okay. Fair enough. Okay, send them. Run, dude! That was... We were like an iota away from being creamed there. This really shouldn't be this dangerous, but we're just trying to, you know, finesse it and make sure. This is... I'm really thankful for the fact that I took Judas's Shadow. This one, you never know, right? It could have gotten pretty bad. And it still could, I guess, for that matter. So what do we want to do? What we want to see is whether Wheel of Fortune is a fortune teller or a slot machine. And because it is... Oh, that's so good. Because it is a slot machine, I wouldn't mind playing it until it pays out with a heart, ideally. It's got to be a full one, unfortunately. And if it blows up before then, so be it. You know, I think this is well worth it. This is your smart money play. A red heart right now is probably worth more than your average item. We don't know it. I'm willing to try it. That's fine. Annoying, but fine. You never know if it could have been full health, right? Alright, I mean, I didn't account for an edge case. If we run out of money before we get the most common consumable in the game, then we'll just blow it up. And we're not really sweating the loss of financial recompense here. Okay, that's fine. I may... It's a tough one, honestly. I may take Thunder Thighs, but I think if we're gonna take Thunder Thighs, we should wait until after we're Dark Judas and get the HP injection, you know, once we've already gotten the damage to protect, instead of protecting this run that is still really good on damage, for the record, but, you know, a little bit less valuable than doubling it. You also might get a speed upgrade when you become Dark Judas, so I think that is worth... Okay, that's real unfortunate, because we had another half heart back there for us, but you know what that is? It's because we took the pill, so, like, nobody to be mad at but yourself. So that's unfortunate. We touched a bomb that did damage on contact. And now things become a little bit more dangerous. And 0.7 speed is always gonna... it's always gonna freak you out a little bit. But you got great damage in DPS. We should be suffering very little. And honestly, our spiders are gonna do a lot of great work for us. And you never know, like, for as bad as this curse is, it could also take us inside of our boss room a little faster, which is really all we're looking for. This is definitely spicier than it had to be, let's be honest. So what are we looking for right now? I mean, an Emperor card would be killer. Other things that would be killer, a speed upgrade. Any item that gives us a Spirit Heart or more. All of this stuff is chef's kiss. The chefs would be, they'd be making out. They wouldn't just be kissing. And I gotta say, like, everything is fine, but it's like having a 2-goal lead in hockey, you know? You're like, this is fun, this is great, this is relaxing. Then the other team scores 1 goal, and you're like, ah, no. This is stressful again. I think this is the room, and it's hard to tell because we've been yeeted so far across the map. I'm pretty sure this is the room that we got hit on. Like, it's the same configuration, no doubt, but I think this is the room. Turning your bedroom back into the computer room. We're turning your bedroom back into the computer room. No, apparently it's not. Apparently it's not. So this sucks, because I'm like, wait, okay, no. Champions, like, get reset or, you know, initialize. That hurt. I did try to get out of the way. After each room. So it's not the on-contact bombs, but still. Yo, that's so good, dude. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's huge. By the way, what does Walnut do? I kind of thought that over the course of the run, eventually it just cracks and gives you some items. But do I have it confused with something else? I must, because, you know, we've taken enough hits. It hasn't been a bad run, but we've taken enough hits. You would have expected that we would have been good here. I did just hear some shouting from the other room. To me, that would seem to indicate that perhaps it's a 2-1 game right now. But that's okay. You know what? It's okay if they score 20 goals and win. Because it's just stickball. I like it. I want my team to win. But, you know, you got to stop yourself short from where you're like, I hate this team's other fan base. Okay, so should we have taken Ipecac? It's a bit touchy. But also, our spiders are the strongest they've ever been. And we're free! For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. And I'll see you next time. See ya!